So like I said, to empathize, you put yourself in the user's shoes. The questions you asked were very good. They explored the issues. And the next step, after we've gained all the problems from the different users of our system, we define the problem. So defining the problem is when we craft a meaningful and actionable problem. It can't just be something we can't work on because we have to develop a solution. So we need to focus on what people said when they spoke, what were the common trends, and what were the real needs that were expressed by the majority of people. So I'm going to go to the back, and you can tell us what problems you identified from the panel discussion.
There was a problem of getting help from the police officers.
Okay.
Good afternoon. I noticed that police officers try to avoid questions posed to them. They get excuses to run away from the actual problem and purport to be seeking a resolution to the problem.
I think one of the issues I identified is when the DPC was asked about their day, it's kind of blanket. And I feel that with more detail, we can actually find out how, work at the police station can be done better. So I felt that wasn't detailed.
Okay. So in order to identify the problem, we have to keep asking ourselves, was what we identified the actual problem, or did we just identify some symptoms? So for example, the lady at the front said that the community person said she gave her case and it wasn't addressed. So is the problem that the police officers don't care, or is it that their filing systems are messed up and they can't even identify which case was submitted when? We need to really know what the real issue is and what are the current existing solutions. Because if there's an existing solution and it's not working, then we need to perfect it so that it works. So the next step is to ideate. This is the final. So after we've empathized with our users, defined our problem, then we have to brainstorm on solutions. So this is the first part of the design thinking process where we actually start thinking about solutions. And this is what we usually use. If you come to run one day, you'll see sticky notes plastered all over the wall. Don't think we're trying to decorate the space. We're thinking of solutions for problems. And the main points about ideation are that we create as many solutions as possible. The most important thing about brainstorming is not the idea, but the number of ideas you create. Because if the more ideas you have, the better. If you have 1,000 ideas, then you can at least find one good solution. So the rules of this step are that we don't judge. We don't look at anyone and say, oh, that idea is rubbish, we can't handle it, take it somewhere else. We don't judge, and we embrace wild ideas, the craziest ideas, like maybe we should invent a vacuum system that just cleans offices in the morning so that the police station is nice and neat when we walk in. We build on other ideas. So if someone gives an idea that you think is worth building on, then you build on it. You don't just leave it at the level it is. And we, again, like I said before, we go for quantity. And after we've developed these massive ideas, we then select an idea. So suppose, I forgot to say that the way we generate our problem is we ask a how might we question. How might we resolve the problem of poor documentation systems in the police station? And by developing that frame of questions, we open it up to a wealth of ideas. So how might we redesign the documentation system in the police station? I'm just going to get ideas from the audience, as many as possible.
Well, I think We can first carry out a survey. Then, if possible, lobby for computers or experts to come and study the documentation system and provide solutions by maybe coming in and documenting everything and teaching the police officers how to use the new system.
Yeah.
I think, good afternoon. I think maybe we should consider staffing police.
How would that address the documenting system?
I think the problem may be maybe based on having few staff. That's why the documents get lost all over.
All right, anyone else? I propose a new filing system. Anyone else have any suggestions?
Thank you so much. My name is Edwin Mugumia, and in respect of this question, I think we can learn a few lessons from the international police, whereby you do not go to their offices and you're welcomed by heaps and heaps of files that can be stolen either by the complainants, by the suspects themselves, or even the policemen. I think if we can adopt the system of having everything computerized, such that if a crime is committed, say in Barara, someone that is in Mbare is able to get the information about the crime, about the suspect, and how the whole case is going.
Very good. So now let's imagine that we have developed 100 solutions in this room because everyone has contributed. The next step will be, so this is idea selection. We go from, the diagram basically shows we start with a problem and then we produce several ideas and we converge to select one idea that will work, one or two.